Hey. Wake up. Good morning. First Sky Omaha Radio. It's going down. You know what time it is. Good morning. Hey. Time to get up, get your body moving. Get your stretch on. Yeah. What's happening? Buddy disappeared. I don't know where he went. He'll be back. We got a good morning. Our first good morning is from Facebook user with some sunshine. I wonder who that is. You're over on Friends of Facebook. How did you do that?
Ha
Wow, that was amazing. Twas amazing. So you don't know that you just glitched. So
no, I know I did that.
You know you did that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cold. That was cold-blooded. I like that. You disappeared.
Yeah, hey.
We got a good morning from Judy Prinzer. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming on in. Pop says, good morning, Paul B. Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich, and the First Sky fam. Wow, it's Monday again? For real.
Man.
Brooke Allen gives us a good morning with some sunshine. Appreciate you. Rome's Review says 105 subscribers. Say what?
Yeah, man.
That's what's up, man. Thanks for everybody that has liked and subscribed on the YouTube channel. They told me we needed 100, so now I'm about to go in and find out why. Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning. Melvin Muhammad says, Assalamu alaikum, family. Rise and shine.
Hey.
Yeah, Mark Madigan says a good morning. And a Facebook user again with a good morning. So if you're over on Friends of First Sky Omaha, you probably are over there if we can't see your name. So you might want to jump over to Friends of First Sky. First Sky Omaha, the Facebook page, the main page. And then we can see who you are. More Valentine gives us a good morning. Everybody's up and at 'em on a Monday morning, sounds like.
Yeah, man. How was your weekend? Everybody? Let us know. Dropping in the chat what you get into. As Paul B said, a lot of the heads came out to Choir Boy. So sounds like it was a good time. It
was a great time, yeah. Richard Green says, good morning. Miss Erica Felt gives us a good Monday morning. That's what it is. Feel like a Monday morning to you?
Not quite. Actually, until you said it Monday, I was thinking it was like Wednesday or something. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah. A little thrown off. I think it's anticipation.
On the trip?
Yeah. I will be coming this week, y'all. It's happening.
What's up? As a matter of fact, we might not have a Wednesday show because he might be in the air traveling on that. So so we'll have to reschedule some stuff on that one and all that good stuff. But the thing is, he'll be in studio on Friday. And then, of course, we got the kickback Friday night. So,
yeah, man.
Yeah, it's going down. It's going to be a good week. Brianna Full gives us a good morning. And another Facebook user, good morning with some sunshine. Brother Muhammad said, everybody get up. It's time to move your body.
Get up. Get on up.
Get on up. Stacey Jean gives us a good morning. First Sky Omaha family and friends. What's happening? You have a good time the other night? Show was off the hook, man. It was a great crowd. For Choir Boy, I appreciate everybody that came out to see Choir Boy because, it went down Saturday night. It was a funky good time for real.
And that's the end of the run, right? There's no more Choir Boy, huh?
That was the finale right there, yeah.
Man.
Yep. So Nick Whitcomb got his roses and, standing ovations. The actors did a little special song for him at the end. It was cold, man. It was a good night.
Yeah, I was gonna say quite a way to kind of end or move on to the next chapter. As I understand, he's gonna be moving to New York City. Yeah,
he's going. Big things. Lucia Rodriguez gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. I'm sorry, I saw your email last minute this morning, Lucia. So I'll jump back in there and see if we can hook some stuff up. We're just talking about it right now. It looks like Buddi is going to be traveling Wednesday morning, so we might not have a show Wednesday morning. And so we'll figure out what we're gonna do about our guests, move them around, and then Friday we'll have a big show because Buddi will be in town. He'll be in studio Friday morning, and then we'll be kicking back at the kickback. Tiny house. It's going down. Brianna Full says, "I wish I could have made the show. I had no idea my friend Malik was part of the cast. Yeah, Malik got down too, man. Got down. What's going on? Well, morning nephew from Gail. What's going on, Auntie? How you doing? Appreciate you chiming in this morning. That's what's up.
Hey, fam in the
Fam in the
building.
house. Yep. Facebook user, happy Monday, friends. Man, you guys are up and at 'em on a Monday morning. I'm telling you.
Yeah, the chat is not usually takes a little time for the chat to kind of heat up and warm up. But it seems like it's going down. So yeah, top of the morning. Let us know how was your weekend. What did you get into over the weekend? Any of the haps? I do want to give a quick shout out before we get into the show to brother Melvin Muhammad, sister, Shar Shelton, Brianna Fool, Mark Snow. Looks like they did the thing at the Culture House. Did anybody show up to the candidate forum? Big shout out to brother Marcy Yates for hosting that. The Culture House continuing to do their thing, continuing to get down.
Culture House gets down.
Yeah, man. So yeah, did anybody make it out to that? Let us know what you thought. I did catch a few clips. It is still available on Facebook for anyone who wants to go back and check it out. But yeah, we'll be this is kind of a pseudo education episode. So we'll be talking about that a lot. So we'll definitely love to hear from the chat chimers who are in attendance at that event.
Right on. Rome's review says potluck for the kickback, or what do y'all think? We can do it. You can let us know. I can make my famous. I don't really have a famous anything.
I was waiting for you to say famous what?
I can famously make something. I can.
Okay.
Yeah, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about if anybody wants to do that situation. Tiny house this time is going to be inside, not outside like it was last party. So we'll be getting down. Do I make the best dump cake? Oh, brother Muhammad got to come with the bean pies. Yeah, we might have to do a potluck at Tiny House, man. I have to do it.
Man, I got a few recipes, that I get requested every once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah. Chef Buddi3 as I like to call myself.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait to go back and look at the beginning of the show when you just appeared out of outer space.
You like that?
That was cold.
Yeah, that was good timing on my part.
Bon Chapman gives us a good morning from YouTube. What's happening, man? Appreciate all y'all from YouTube. And as Mayor Sanchez said this morning, we got 105 subscribers on YouTube now. That's what's up.
Yeah, and I actually had a conversation with Mama God on Friday, who was kind of explaining to me, what her actually as I say her name, she pops up in the chat. But she was explaining to me how she was working on Friday, so I definitely want to give her a shout out on air. She said she texts about 60 different people to ask them to join the Facebook.
Wow.
And it was trying to make sure, and like was following up. Like, did they subscribe? Did they come through? Did they do what I told them to do? So yeah, big shout out to Mama God for that one.
Appreciate that. She said, "What's your number, Paul, so I can pick up my ticket?" The show was Saturday already.
No, she knows. Yeah, no, she definitely hit me up like, "Where my ticket?"
I had your name up there. You had to go to Will Call and pick it up. I had your name up there for the tickets. Yep. So sorry about that. I started a little miscommunication there, but yeah, for the most part, everybody who did show up, there's a lot of chat chimers in the house, man. It was dope.
Yeah.
Dope. Yeah. Ted Brooks said teleport. Hey, brother, man, what's families in there talking to each other? I love it. That's what's up.
Hey, squad.
Julie Printer says, looking forward to meeting my peeps on Friday. That's what's up. I can't wait to meet you too. Come on through. We're gonna have a good time. Be great.
Yeah. And for any of y'all who have never been to the Tiny House, man, it's a good time. It's a good time out there.
Yeah, it's a funky good time. We're gonna have a DJ. We're gonna get down, play some grown folks music. We'll have some drink specials. And if Mayor Sanchez gets his way, we might even have a little potluck going on. Yeah. Bring some little vittles.
Have some dub.
Yeah, man. Be dope. Chef Buddi3 might get down on something. That's what's up.
You like that? You like that, Chef
I like
Buddi?
that. I like that. Yeah, man. That's what's up, man. That's what's happening. What's also happening today too? We have a couple special guests coming in from the Reader. First of all, Bridget Fogarty is going to be in the house today,
Yeah, man.
and then a little later on, we're going to have Natalia Alamdari. Am I saying that right?
Alamdari. Yes.
Alamdari, excuse
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. It's close
Yeah,
enough. Close enough.
yeah, from Flatwater Free Press, and it's gonna be a very good show on education today. There's a lot of talk, a lot of stuff going on
Man.
that you don't want to miss. It's gonna be great. It is the 18th of April already. I can't believe how much time is flying by. I better call and get a DJ, man. I still ain't got a DJ for Friday.
Oh man, I'm
I'll
telling
be up,
you.
we might be up there trading off
Hey, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. Just let me know if I gotta bring my stuff.
on the
Um,
wheels of steel.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. But 25% of the year is already over, man.
That's crazy.
We are a quarter of the way in. It is about to be summer. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the time is going. I still think back to that link that Star Trek Rich shared about time speeding up. I think that's a real thing. That's why we
That's a
say
real thing.
if you believe in the concept of time around here, because yeah, time and space,
It's a trip.
it's all relative.
Ever shifting.
Oh
Wanda
yeah.
Lewis says, "What time is the tiny house?" It's 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock at tiny house. We're gonna start getting down. We probably come a little earlier if you want to.
Yeah,
We'll be
yeah.
there like 5, 6. Especially if we potluck. So let's talk. We'll talk off site. I am gonna start hitting. Another thing we need to do too, man, is come through after the show. Plan on coming through to Black Coffee and having
Yes.
some breakfast. I'm gonna make that my thing now. So Black Coffee is going down Breakfast Club style, and I'm just making it telling everybody that I'm gonna be there every Friday from now on. So if you want to come through, come on through. I was there last Friday, man. It was crazy, man. It was like every everybody you could think of was coming through, man. It was a trip. It was like the new Black City Hall kind of situation. It was dope. So we're definitely gonna be doing that.
Oh yeah, it's on my
Uh,
list.
and we gotta spend some time, and then you're gonna be performing at
Yeah,
Culture
yeah.
House.
Man, I almost forgot. I almost forgot. Actually, it's not at the Culture House. It is at Elmwood Park for the Earth Day
Oh
event.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
gracing the stage with the homies Dilla Kids, doing
Yes.
a couple of cuts from the Freedom Summer album. So yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. I
And
almost forgot about
when
that.
is that? Saturday?
Yeah, it's on a Saturday. It's on
Okay, yeah.
Saturday. I have to. We'll round. Just remind me back when we get back to the Haps, and I'll have that information.
Okay, sounds good, man. Josh Takis, it's a good morning, all. And Wanda Lewis says, "Does Augie Kid DJ?" Yes, he does.
Yes.
He DJ'd our last party too. So, like I said, we might be up there trading off. All three of us DJ. So we might be. And Michelle Troskler has been known to spin a little wheel as
Oh
well.
yeah,
So
yeah. Foxy Troxy.
Foxy Troxy on the ones and twos. So we might get down. In the meantime, before too much time gets away from us, what we got? What we talking about today? What's on the agenda?
Yeah, man. I mean, we kind of got into it. Definitely going to be discussing education. Just kind of how the cookie crumbled today. Just kind of how the show lined up. A lot of education conversation being had. And then also continuing to look at some of the community development things going on. Again, just recently secured the bag in a way. Of course, still waiting on the Governor Ricketts approval, but it's all but a foregone conclusion. So definitely looking forward to that and looking at ideas. There's definitely a conversation being had about the OOIC building. Again, kind of an eyesore right there on the Deuce. A lot of people having conversations and questions about what's being done with that building. So we'll talk about it. Again, the once bustling Omaha Opportunities Industrialization Center has been closed for several years. So again, we'll talk about the future of that building and also talking about mental health. There is more ARPA funds coming into the city and really across the state to the tune of millions of dollars that will be getting poured into mental health facilities and services. So we'll talk about that and more. Of course, as I mentioned, education, another topic. And then also economy. Apparently, the Nebraska Examiner, big shout out to them, one of the outlets that's a part of this conglomerate that we're putting together, the alternative news conglomerate. Nebraska rises to the top of a national look at recession resilience. So, kind of looking at the economy of the state, which, of course, we talk about there is need, but Apparently not as much as the rest of the country. So we'll talk about exactly where we are.
You ain't patting yourself on the back on that one.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
Good job, Nebraska. You ain't got no problems anymore.
Man, all that and more. So, of course, if there's anything that we're not discussing and you feel like we should be, something that's jumped out to you over the weekend, something that's on your hearts, your minds, feel free to chime into the chat. That's why we have the chat. It's wide open. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. We're here for the next 2 hours. So, without further ado, let's go.
Let's do it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Once again, you are listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich, all of you, the chat chimers. It is April the 18th, 2022, and it is a Monday, and we appreciate everybody that got up so early on this Monday. If you are on Facebook, please do us a favor and share the show. Share the show on your page so we can get as many people talking as we can on this. Also, if you're over on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We're already up to 105 followers over there. Really appreciate everybody's efforts to help us up our game on YouTube. It's going down in a very organic and beautiful way, so we appreciate it. We got some good mornings from Christy Nor in the house. Also, another Facebook user. You're over there on Friends of Facebook. Come on over to the official Facebook page so we can see your name. Facebook user gives us a good morning. Rose Reviews says there was a beautification of North Omaha on Sunday. Yes, there was. Lots to talk about there for sure. Wanda Lewis says a couple of people tried buying the OOIC building. For some reason, it keeps getting blocked. I don't know. I don't think they really want to sell it. They want to tear it down to build apartments, probably. Stacey Jean says, "Happy anniversary, buddy."
Hey, how you know that? Is that?
How I didn't know that. Okay,
today is my 1 year wedding anniversary. So thank you.
So, well, congratulations, man. That's what's up. 1 year already.
Happy anniversary, baby. Happy anniversary. Yes.
There you go. Boy, you was looking clean in that suit. That's all I remember about last year. Clean, sharp.
Yeah, actually, coming back to Omaha for a wedding, so it is, it's a time of love.
That's what's up. Gwen Easter says, "I was told by a realtor it's been sold unless he was lying." Wanda Lewis says, "The city owns the land parcel." Well, lots to talk about with this OOIC building.
Let's go ahead and get into it then. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Jump on in.
Yeah, man. And I will put this in the context of LB 1024, something that we've been looking at for quite some time. And just a quick update, after it was passed on the 12th on that 45-1 vote, it was presented to the governor on April 12th. So we're still waiting on the governor to go ahead and sign off on that bag. But of course, I think this OOIC project will be a good use of some of that or those funds. Again, the money from LB 1024 is slated to go towards small business development, workforce reinforcement, things like that, right? Economic development. That's exactly what the OOIC building is for. For those who maybe not, be familiar with the OOIC building or may have, driven past it and just wonder, hey, what is that? Again, OOIC stands for Omaha Opportunities Industrialization Center. And again, the building at one time was very, very active. Actually, has been closed now for 7 years. So I do remember a time when there were services being provided out of the building. But again, for the last several years, it has been not only shut down, but in major disrepair, slowly but surely falling apart. And actually, this is a cousin of mine, so I'm quite interested quite surprised to see her name in this article. But she was a part of the effort that Miss Wanda Lewis just referred to and trying to purchase the building for Crystal Flowers. The OIC is much more than a building. The programs here helped many people, including some of her family members. Again, Crystal says that her mom did some training there of the older people from her family, as well as got some job skills done up there. She says that they made an attempt to buy the building and asked the public for help. She says, let's get some donations. Let's get some money so we can try to buy it, so we can revamp it, or we can come in ourselves as a community and we can do hands-on, try to revamp it ourselves, do what we need to do. But they couldn't raise enough money, and the building continues to deteriorate. Crystal couldn't save the building, but they continue some of the programs that helped so many others over the years. She says, we are now OOIC of Omaha, and we wanted to kind of keep the philosophy and mission going. So we created a new nonprofit organization to create, to carry out some of those same values. There has been success in the building, new life in old buildings along 24th Street. Of course, we talked about some of the development going along the Deuce, and Swan Development was able to save the historic Carnation Ballroom as an example. But Ben Swan says that he knows it would be a challenge to save the OOIC building, saying, so whether that building is saved and restored, it's got sufficient deferred maintenance. It's your understanding there's a lot of water damage in that. What we need in North Omaha, North 24th Street, is good quality building stock and good quality housing stock that's affordable and able to be used by the community. So again, there are plans to continue to save the building, and there's actually a website for the OOIC. It's called OICofomaha.org. Again, that's OICofomaha.org. So again, there are services being provided, but we should do something about this building. And I definitely agree with Wanda Lewis. This is actually something that I looked into, kind of came across during my investigation and research into the land bank, just kind of looking at some of the properties in North Omaha, and actually got some of the initial documents and things that created the OOIC program and later on the building. And yeah, it seems like this is something that the community still needs. And I do get the sense, I haven't quite found like the smoking gun, but I do get the sense that there are some actors or some individuals who would like to see this building maybe become an apartment or some kind of commercial area, or rather benefit from it themselves than see it being something that benefits the community.
Right. Jumping in the chat, Mama God says, I heard that it was it's still caught up in ongoing legal issues. I'm glad to see that it is at least available for sale. Brooke says, I believe that's where I went to get my summer youth job program assignment as a team.
Mm-hmm.
As a teen. That's crazy. Brianna Full says, whatever comes out of the North Omaha recovery plan should buy that building and turn into an innovation hub.
My thoughts exactly.
I like that. Wanda Lewis says, Von Chapman's group put up $600,000 to purchase the building. They held on to his money for nearly a year without following through. Man,
wow. I did not hear about that, but I have heard that there are several efforts to rescue, to purchase, to restore the building. As far as who owns it, I did see someone mentioning it in the chat. I do think the city of Omaha, if I'm not mistaken, the city of Omaha owns the land, but not the building. Yeah, there are some discrepancies in that as far as who could sell the building and what's going on with the actual purchase and of the property. And I do think that deals with some litigation as well, as far as the organization that owned or was using the property before. I'm not sure if it's a lawsuit or what's going on, but I did read that there is some litigation that was holding up that process as well.
More information on that building. Wanda Lewis in the chat says Terrence Bud Crawford recently tried purchasing the building with obstacles in his way. And Mama God says, yep, it was called CETA.
Yep, CETA. Yep. Again, it's called the Omaha Opportunities for Industrialization Center. So again, this was a place where, as Brianna Full mentioned, or actually Brooke had mentioned, a lot of people were going to get training for summer jobs. It was a workforce development type of situation. A lot of industrial jobs. So a lot of the factory jobs, learning how to work a forklift, learning how to do those types of things. Those were the types of services and opportunities provided by the OOIC building, and it just stopped.
Yeah, last time I was in that building probably was 2016 or something like that, maybe even 15 or 16. It was around that time they were building the new facilities at Metro, and they were having these forums for minority contractors to come in and try to do some work, and try to meet Kiewit, who was the lead on that. And there was a big news conference there, and I remember walking to this building like, man, this facility is real futuristic looking. Like you can tell that it was a architecturally even a gem of the area, and huge, and so many different facets and areas that stuff can be done in the building. So yeah, I always wondered about that too. It's one of those ones, if you're like me and you ever got business ideas and you're like, I'd love to find a real cool looking building, then you looked at it and like, that'd be nice to have that. That'd be something else. You have a facility, like is big and is high tech looking as that, So I hope they do something really do something with it. Margie Sturgeon in the chat says Crexy is a great site for keeping an eye on commercial property. Here's a link for the OOIC building. So definitely check that link out in the chat and see what kind of information you can glean off of that as well.
I'm actually looking at it right now. The asking price for the building is $625,000. So the fact that Brother Von Chapman, as mentioned in the chat, was able to get at least 600, that's not too far off. So I'm kind of curious as to what was the holdup.
How did he not get it?
Right. And it's been on the market now for, it says 229 days, which is less than a year, which is very interesting because the building's been closed for 7 years.
Right. Yes. Some shady things going on.
Yeah. I honestly don't think that Miss Wanda Lewis is very far off as far as her statement that they might be trying to hold off on that to build apartment buildings, which
it wouldn't be the first time that they're doing that all over the city. So like, I wouldn't put it past them to do that for this. Like you said, even just digging into the land bank stuff, there's a whole lot of stuff being held for development, and only development I ever see is either skyscrapers or big facilities or apartment buildings. Never single family homes, never duplexes, quadplexes, anything. It's all high rise apartment complexes, unfortunately.
Yeah, live work type situations.
Or live work, yeah, same. Brianna Full says it feels impossible to buy land in North O without being at the mercy of a nonprofit.
Yeah, or a major developer like Kiewit or NDR or something like that.
Right. Facebook user says, morning, here's an article that gives an idea of how this gym once helped provide opportunities for the community. I can't wait to read that. That sounds very interesting. See what used to happen there. Wanda Lewis says that just like the utility building on 30th and Fowler, instead listed for sale for $450,000, the building isn't worth it, and no one will pay that amount. Yeah, that's a little steep for that building there. All the homes around that building is slated for demolition. That building will also be demolished as part of their tactic to pretend to act like they are willing to sell it. Facebook user says, and there's a Noise article that has great info as well. Yeah, I do remember that. There's link to the Noise article there if we can find it. But that's really interesting how that Wanda Lewis stuff that you're saying there, I've read and seen several times about several different areas about how it's almost like they're saying, yeah, you guys should come and get this, and then there's so many hoops and stuff to jump through and try to figure out how to do it, and people that got the money and then still can't get it, or you even find out who the owner is and anything. Like, there's so much of that going on. It's like they are just acting as if they're going to sell it. Well, nobody bought it. Let's go ahead and tear stuff down and build some apartment complexes.
Kind of like the whole Governor Ricketts thing with the rental assistance. Like, oh, nobody came and got it. They create a whole bunch of red tape and hoops, like you said, to jump through, and denying 90% of the applicants, but act like there's no need. A lot of gaslighting, sounds like.
Yeah, that's the perfect word for it. Exactly. A lot of gaslighting going on. Wanda Lewis is same real estate company too, MP Dodge.
Yeah. I did want to kind of break down a little of the history from this website that was posted in the link, the OIC of Omaha.org, just to give a quick glance of how this organization actually impacted. So apparently the OIC was and has always been a 501c3. So it is a nonprofit organization. And from 1966 to 2016, the Omaha OIC trained and placed more than 20,000 people. These trainees have contributed hundreds of thousands of dollars each year to the local economy as a productive workforce. For over 30 years, Omaha OIC has been one of the largest manpower training subcontractors for the federally funded training programs in the city of Omaha, which goes back to something else that we've been talking about as far as contracts and how the economic base in Atlanta was impacted when legislation was passed to require minority contractors to get a portion of federal and state contracts. This was a part of that. This OIC building was training that workforce to do that and actually kind of assisted in getting some of those contracts. So again, that goes right back to the feeling like, yeah, there's intent behind why this has been laying vacant for the last 7 years.
Well, we got somebody in the chat. Wanda Lewis is former student of OOIC.
No, so okay, so yeah, she knows.
Very interesting. Facebook user says, has the Urban League looked into buying it? Maybe through that approach, there's funding from the state and keeps it in the community.
I mean, Bud Crawford, he's not hurting for any money. He's a prize fighter with long pockets. If he can't get it, I don't think money is the issue.
You imagine what kind of training facility he might put there if he had it? That's full athletic community building right there. If he had that building.
And how many lives can that change?
Jobs, lives, everything.
Again, 20,000 people.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Oh well, I'm blown away by learning that Von Chapman came up with that kind of loot and still couldn't secure the building. Like, what's really going on?
Again, he was only 25,000 short of the asking price. So
they will sit on something for and that's what they're asking for now. That doesn't mean that's what they were asking for before. Right. They will sit on a building for 7 years before they let the community actually get it.
Money's not the issue, y'all. I don't think money's the issue.
7:32 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. Stay tuned with us. We have a couple special guests coming in. You want to stick around for that. We have, first of all, Bridget Fogarty's coming in from the Reader in El Perico. And then a little later on, it's going to be Natalia Alamdari from Flatwater Free Press. Yes. Getting it. I got to, practice makes perfect. That's what it is. Man. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich, all of you, the chat chimers. This is a very, very hot subject that we got going on here. Anytime we're talking about land and buildings and revitalizing the deuce, it looks like we got a lot of people that got information that are heavily invested and also had been a part of the story even going down. So OOIC building right now is the topic.
And we appreciate everybody who jumped in and really facilitated a lot of that story with the extra information and everything. So that's what this is about, man. This is about a discussion. And you can't just be the person always that has all the answers and has all the story. This is a community telling the story. This is community storytelling going on right now. So that's what's up. Really appreciate everybody who's jumped in and got down here. Wanda Lewis says they're waiting on the building to continue to dilapidate as the excuse for demolition. K. Slade just passed from COVID. He was 55. Oh,
what?
Man.
DJ K. Slade?
Wow.
Nah.
Thanks for the info, Miss Erica Felt. Wow.
Man,
breaking news there.
Man, I'm gonna be with my DJ family later on today too, man. Dang, man.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace.
Yep. Gail Allen says, feels like that to me, Wanda Lewis. Yeah, feels like they're just trying to wait for the building to get demolished, unfortunately. Yeah, it's going down. Pop says we got Julie Cole from England in the house. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening all the way from across the pond. Man. Appreciate that very much. Stephen Abraham in the house with some more information. OOIC has been an important part in North Omaha for many individuals. The contract agreement that OOIC had with the city had issues in the beginning, which created a loophole. A sale must work for the owners of the name and half the building, and the city state, which technically owns the other part of the building. More information.
Yeah, that's kind of what along the lines of what I was getting to. I couldn't think exactly of the details, and I'm trying to find the actual document that I was reading, because there's some actual litigation and some public record that's out there. But yeah, like the ownership of it is not very clear who owns what portion. Is not fully owned by one entity. I think the city owns, like I mentioned, a portion of the land surrounding the building and maybe a portion of the building itself. But another portion would go. It's not clear at all. It's very kind of convoluted, as Stephen Abraham just mentioned. It all goes back to the initial contract that the city and the OIC building, started. And again, this organization was started in the 60s. This started in 1966. So you can kind of imagine, what was going on specifically in Omaha at that time. And kind of the politics, if you will, around how that organization would have been created. Again, we're talking about educating and training thousands and thousands of people in a community that's being oppressed. Come on.
He says, Stephen Abraham said half the building is built on a city park.
You know what I'm saying?
Gwen Easter said, my mom and sisters went through training OOIC. I had a reading program there and worked with an OPS teacher who operated the GED program before I opened Safe Haven Community Center. To my understanding, the idea to start OOIC came from church pastors and some community leaders. I'm trying to tell you more history. If anybody who is listening, who is a part of the story that we're reading this from, or a part of the sale or the acquisition of this building, definitely need to come over here and see what the community actually is saying about it. The history, the people in the community, who this affected, who the building affected before, and what everybody's thinking and feeling about its revival now. And all this information is like, where would we get that? Where would we find out that it was half of it was built on a city park? Like,
man.
Yeah. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate the chat chimers on enhancing this story. This is group storytelling at its finest. And what's up, man? So
yeah, I like how you put that, community storytelling, because as I kind of commented on the choir boy situation, when we tell our own stories, man, it becomes a lot more powerful. So I appreciate everyone for adding in on this.
Yeah, we'll definitely come back to it. Keep our eye on what's going on with that building, and keep talking about it. It's obviously one of these things that's very important to us, very important to you, the chat chimers in our community. So we'll keep on keeping on.
Yeah. And actually, speaking of keeping on, I do want to dive into another article, but I did want to finish with just dropping their philosophy. I think this is important to lay out. Not only were they training people, but the philosophy behind what they were doing. It says Omaha OIC is operated on the belief that people are best helped by helping themselves. The students in OIC programs learn much more than a skill. They learned that with a positive attitude, hard work, and good skills, any individual can be a productive wage earner. Omaha OIC offers a hand up, not a hand out. So I think that's very important to lay that philosophy out, man.
Earner school. That's what's
Man,
up.
that's what it's about. That's what it's about. But they, they don't want earners. They just want workers.
Right. Which is why it's been sitting up there for 7 years, dilapidated probably.
Right.
Tough stuff, man. Tough stuff. 7:40 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, let's jump into something else real quick. We got a special guest coming up at 7:45, so stay tuned for that.
Yep.
Bridget Fogarty's in the house. The reader El Perico is going down, so stick around, stay tuned. In the meantime, something else we can jump into real quick before we get there.
Yeah, man. As we set up for the next guest, continuing the conversation really of again investment in the community, specifically in North Omaha, and where some of these federal funds are going or could go. Again. And maybe a mental health service would be something that would be a good use for the OOIC building. That is at least where a lot of money is going. This report coming from KMTV News 3 looks like Children's Hospital and CHI Health will be getting $10 million in American Rescue Plan or ARPA funds to go towards expanding mental health services, with another $1.8 million coming from state-approved bills for expanding telehealth accessibility. So again, more money going into mental health facilities, services. And Dr. Jennifer McWilliams, who's a Children's Hospital Division Chief of Psychiatry, says families have only two choices currently when seeking help during a mental health crisis, either calling an established outpatient clinic and making an appointment, or going to an emergency department. But again, this could change all of that very soon. Bonnie Ryan, who's Children's Hospital spokesperson, said, "Here at Children's, we're excited for what this means to our children and the far-reaching impacts this will have on our communities." CHI will also focus on more centralized approach by expanding their already existing Lasting Hope Center to children. CHI Behavioral, Robin Conyers, who's vice president of behavioral services at CHI, says the development of this Lasting Hope Center for children and families will be an all-inclusive one-stop access point for children and families in our community. So there is, again, more investment going into mental health, and that's aside from the mental health or the facility that's going to be on 52nd, like right off of 52nd and Sorensen that we had talked about. Also, the other facility that they're talking about building that we just mentioned. So there's a lot of money going into mental health, which is something that people ask. But is it? What are your thoughts before I get into my thoughts? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Well, I'm skeptical now because of the one we just talked about with 52nd, 52nd and Sorensen. Like, more beds are we talking about? Is mental health always going to be equated to facilities and beds and places to lock kids down? Because this is talking about for kids. This is like a kids facility again, right?
Right.
Yeah. So like, how many facilities and how many beds? Is this the alternative now to like juvenile? Is this an enhancement with the juvenile detention centers? More beds that they're under the guise of mental health. What else can a mental health facility be? You know what I'm saying? I'm picturing. I'm hoping that it's more doctors' offices. I don't know. I don't know what would it be? But so hopefully it's not just all rubber padded rooms and beds. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's tell us what's happening here. That's the best thing I'd like to find out. I'd like to put it to the chat as well. What do you think about this particular these dollars going to these facilities, and what do you think it means? What is it going to look like, in your opinion? So, Brother Muhammad said, home-based mental health, children and family centered. Let's start there, right? Like, can we put some money? Can we help the families out to help our own families first before we have more facilities and buildings up?
That's where my mind goes. Like, rather than like this again, this is the third time now, the third separate project that we're hearing about mental health, and yes, it's good to definitely invest in have services and opportunities for those who are dealing with mental health crises and things like that to be available to those people. But to your point, there is some skepticism. Like, man, this is a lot. You know what I mean? Could it have been more of a conjoined effort could have been more of a cooperative effort? And then also with all of this money going in to the reaction, how about being proactive and like you said, investing in the things that might cause these mental health crises to happen and getting ahead of the curve? And we all know some of the things that go into that trauma from seeing abuse, trauma from seeing poverty, just things that can be addressed before just having, like you said, more beds, more doctors. Let's actually give a hand out or a hand up rather than a hand out.
Brother Muhammad said children with mental health issues live with families with mental health issues. So, was $10 million going in the doctor's pockets to have more patients? I mean, what is it? Brianna Full says this is good, but we need more prevention efforts. So a crisis doesn't start in the first place, right?
Thank you.
More outdoor spaces, more programs, more things for people to do. Facebook user says it would be a prerequisite to Juvenile Justice Center and a pipeline to prison. Follow the money, sponsors. That's what I'm feeling like. Most definitely. But without any further ado, it is time to bring on our special guest. It is 7:45, actually 7:46 right now, if you believe in the concept of time. Ladies and gentlemen, Bridget Fogarty in the house.
Hey.
The reader El Perico. How are you doing this morning, sis?
Good morning. I'm doing well. I'm trying to keep up with you guys with the early morning. I chugged a coffee. We're ready to go.
Okay, all right.
Well,
that's what I want to hear. That's what's up.
Yeah, definitely. Glad you were able to make it in, and definitely glad to have you. For those who aren't familiar, again, we have Bridget Fogarty of the Reader and El Perico on with us, and she's actually written several articles and been out to the show several times. She is a part of the Report for America Corps. So definitely glad to have you doing the good work. And specifically, again, I guess, is it a beat? Are you calling it a beat for the DisInvested project?
Yeah. I'm focused mostly on education for the DisInvested project right now. So I've been able to really immerse myself in those stories, talk to a lot of students over the past couple months. It's been a really amazing experience, alongside reporting with El Perico more on immigration and community news.
Yeah. So definitely check her out at both The Reader and elperico.com to catch up on her work. But the latest article is talking about students and families, for that matter, falling through the cracks, which is definitely again kind of something we're talking about with the mental health situation. I mean, you fall through the cracks and you deal with that emotionally, and a lot of times that kind of resurfaces and manifests itself in mental health issues and anxiety and depression and things like that. So as far as this article and the Gold Center, some of the things that are out there, what are you seeing as far as the issues and how are they being addressed?
Yeah, just as you guys had been discussing before, it was really interesting and, really cool to learn more about the Gold Center and specifically how their family advocates address not just, the issues a student's going through, but they really try to take a look at those like root causes or root barriers to a student missing school. So they're kind of one of the many nonprofits or organizations that focuses on attendance and absenteeism, but they're one of the only ones, I believe, in the area that's specifically focused on chronic absenteeism and truancy. And so, looking at, I was able to speak with two of the family advocates, Lydia and Jasmine, and just hearing about, the work they do. They get to go into family homes and really walk together with parents and students and kind of act as that, like a third party. They're not the parent, but they're also not the school teacher. And so they're able to really help parents feel empowered and students feel empowered to really advocate for their needs in the classroom. So that's kind of what I learned. And I got to speak with a couple different students for this story, Yusuf and Olivia in particular. Yusuf is Olivia's son, who is an OPS student and was really struggling to get to school. But when they looked at why he was struggling to get to school, he had been in foster care all of most of the pandemic. And then when it was time to come back to school in person, just all of that motivation was lacking because there was also so much just trauma and difficulties that were left unaddressed. He'd never really received any mental health resources until then. And so, talking with them, I'm just so grateful that they, were open to sharing their story. Yusuf's doing great in school now, and having a family advocate in his corner helped not just, have the family advocate talk to the school, but helped empower his mom to go to the school and say, hey, I don't think you're following his individualized education plan. And they learned that the school was not reading his individualized education plan. For those who aren't familiar with that, an IEP is a plan that helps students who may have special learning needs. It's a specific plan to help them, if they're having a tough day, it gives them that option to leave the classroom or maybe, take a beat and go to the counselor, something like that, an alternative to maybe a punitive kind of response to their behavior. So yeah, just being connected with that program really helped get him back on track in a time that's so hard for so many students. On top of all the things any student might be going through at home, we also have this pandemic that's really been, crushing to mental health for all of us, but especially for youth who are, trying to thrive and trying to, grow in this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you definitely kind of written some articles also about how some students and parents have pulled their students out of OPS schools, and just kind of how the pandemic has sort of changed the demographic of OPS, which is also something I wanted to get into. Because if I'm not mistaken, you do have a portion in this article about the demographic of people referred to the goals program, and how because this again is right in line with something we were just talking about with the mental health services and the investment in mental health and being more proactive. And organizations and services like goals could go a long way into kind of stemming off some of these mental health needs and crises. But there's certain people who are being referred to this program and certain people who aren't. Can you kind of speak to that a little more?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a huge part of this, and actually the reason why we first wanted to pursue this story. Looking at the data of who's most chronically absent in schools throughout, throughout the Omaha area. But when we focused in on OPS, students of color, specifically Black and Latino students and Native students have the highest rates of chronic absenteeism. So chronic absenteeism is defined as missing 10% or more of the school year. Students who miss even more, 20% or more of the school year, also were predominantly students of color. But the referrals to the goals program, which, parents, students, anybody can really make a referral into the program. But what's biggest is that referral from the district. When a student's struggling with their absences, maybe that higher level of intervention can come from somewhere like the Goals Center. What the statistics are showing is that white students across Omaha are being referred into this program the most. So when you break it down more, you can see that OPS, the Omaha Public Schools District, is referring students in at, if not the lowest numbers, the second lowest numbers. So with the school district with the highest needs for this like third tier intervention. Again, intervention for absenteeism doesn't just start with a program like this. It starts in the classroom level with OPS's Strive for 95. It starts with their attendance teams. And I spoke with the district about this, and they really said, we want to, catch this before it needs to be at a higher intervention level. But what we are seeing in that data is that students are, not being referred into this program, specifically from Omaha Public Schools districts, they're being referred in at one of the lowest rates.
And actually, as an alternative, rather than being referred to assistance and services, what are some of the like you mentioned, the students of color who are being tardy? Are they being reprimanded, or are they, rather than getting help, are they in trouble, or what is the response that they're seeing rather than getting a referral?
Yeah. So from students I've spoken to and parents, and even, Ms. Erica Felt is saying in the chat, receiving a letter home due to absences. OPS has their processes in place, with either sending a letter home or having those attendance teams. The individual I spoke with at OPS, she mentioned having a database to help track, which students are absent. But like you're saying, the reactions then to those students are missing school, not just because they don't want to go, because of so many other reasons that are underlying. So from students that I've spoken to and parents, I've heard of students just falling behind and quite literally, slipping through the cracks in the sense of not getting any help. I've heard of students, this ripples into their behavior, and maybe they're, acting up at school, and then they might be suspended. For example, in the story that I write about Yusuf, he hadn't had that help from goals yet. He was in a behavioral, his classroom he was in, and he had just a moment of really, he said, like, I flipped my lid. I really just was like tired. I wanted to leave the room. And that was followed by having the police called on him as, a 6th or 7th grade young Black boy. You got to think, is that something that would happen if somebody, a white student had a bad day? So looking at just how the behavior and the reactions happen, I can't say for sure what exactly, every student's going through, but we can definitely see that when you don't receive that help you really need, further problems can come along, and, suspensions or expulsions can happen, and also really traumatic experiences. You shouldn't have the police called on you as a 6th grader or 7th grader, or anyone at school for that matter.
Miss Erica Felt in the chat, you just mentioned is a great example of a parent who's going through that. I'm so tired of those letters threatening me due to absences. If school transportation would transport, then my child wouldn't be absent. She says the last letter I received about my son's absences did discuss mental health, but again, that's reactionary. So I can imagine, like you were giving all these examples of things that might happen with a kid that is not in school, more than just he doesn't want to be at school. But it's also the family, it's also the parents. Can they get the child to school? Are they depending on the school bus system to get them to school? Is the school bus system getting them to school? There's so many different factors, and to have these threatening kind of letters is kind of just feels really ridiculous. Brianna Full in the chat says, when I was a kid, I was chronically absent because of my poor environment and mental health. I ultimately ended up in the juvenile justice system because of it. Thankfully, things turned out fine for me as a result, but I wish something like that was around back then. So looks like this goals situation is a good one that can work. Beth Davis Wilson says, did you ask why they aren't being referred? Granted, the data says one thing, but you have to ask the question. Quite sure that you probably did. What do you think, Miss Fogarty?
Yeah, a great question. And exactly when I started reporting, I knew that's something I had to ask. Speaking with OPS, they said that in attendance is a priority for them. And they mentioned their attendance teams and some of that, that first tier of intervention help that they provide, and their Strive for 95 campaign. But when I asked that question, they said that when that they had taken away referrals to all schools. So while in other districts with the goals program, any school can make a direct referral to the program. At OPS, currently about, I believe it's 4 schools can make the referral into the district. So schools themselves, only 4 as opposed to all of the schools with, so that means that somebody in the, a parent or maybe a teacher could make a referral, I believe, not through the school. Anybody can be referred in outside of the school. But when it comes to, students within the building, getting that referral from the building or from someone officially through their school, only 4 schools. And I will say that the 4 schools that that are giving referrals from OPS were targeted schools who had higher rates of chronic absenteeism.
Wow.
But yeah, that was the answer I received while reporting.
Wow.
Yeah. And I would like to encourage people to go read the article too. Like, there's a lot of information in the article that have been discussed.
Yeah, and that's a shameless plug because you can pick it up for free. I did bring it today. Always got to have your visual aid. Yeah, nice. So you can pick up this month's reader. Anywhere throughout town, around grocery stores. We've got a map online of places you can pick it up. And also shout out for El Perico. We've gone to this fancy flip cover, so it's all in one place for you. But yeah, the full story is there, as well as a great story on housing and landlords from Chris Bowling.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Just to jump in the chat real quick before you get out of here, She Mathis says there's also a need to be support for the family holistically. There needs to be more work done on root cause of the issue. Work towards addressing that so the solution is longer lasting. And I think it's sad that that's not the first inclination for any of this, for mental health, for school attendance, for anything. They don't it's like they're treating children as they're just autonomous. They're just by themselves, and they're not coming from a situation. There's no family support for the family. If there's support for a family, then the kid will be supported. It's kind of crazy. Wanda Lewis says every OPS student isn't provided transportation by bus. If they move in the middle of the school year, they have to wait until the following year. That could be problematic if they don't have transportation within the family. So again, we go back to these ideas about supporting the family first. You support the family, then they're more supported going, getting to school and getting the support they need for school. So lots of stuff to discuss on this subject. As you can see, the chat chimers are fired up about it. Lots of great comments. Go back and look at some of these other comments and dig deeper on that kind of stuff. And we appreciate you for writing this, for digging deep into this subject, for this choosing this to be your beat. And to really kind of dig deep and pull out the truth here. So it is coming up on 8 o'clock right now. We're now in the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. And if you're just joining us, we have Bridget Fogarty on from the Reader El Perico. And she is show your magazine again. Show your visual aid again real quick. We're all about
right side up. There you go.
There you go. We're all about the reading of the reader. So definitely dig into the article and get some deeper understanding about some of this stuff, and keep up with it, man. And find your suggest where the places you want to go pick up the actual physical paper. I like to push the physical paper all the time because it's just nice to have something in your hand and be sitting there reading. I always have this vision of me sitting at La Bouvette on the patio reading the reader, chilling, drinking some tea,
I mean, that's peak luxury right there.
All suited, you know what I'm saying? With a hat on with a flower in and all that. Like straight up, bro. Springtime, baby. Pinky's high. Before we get out of here, I just want to say again, thank you for coming. And we didn't really ask you how are you and what's going on with you and any fun things. This is my buddy from Boston right here. we bonded in Boston hard. So
yes,
what's new? What's new with you? You got any trips coming up? Anything good?
No, I'm good. I got to go home to Chicago this past weekend. So I got to see my grandma, got to hang out with my cousins. It was just a very wholesome weekend. So nice. That's what's newest with me. But and a new reader related thing is we painted my office. So Liz Sanchez performed an Easter miracle and finished the office. So when it's all painted, we're gonna have some Omaha folks over and celebrate.
We're with that for sure. We're with that. Appreciate it very much. We're gonna go ahead and let you go, but thanks again for coming on in. Looks like you got a lot of thanks. Thank you. Brianna Full says thanks, Bridget. Earlier, Brianna Full says she loves your reporting. You do a good job. So appreciate that. Brother Rich put the reader in the chat right there. She Mathis says thank you, Miss Fogarty. Look at that. You're getting all kinds of love. So that's what's up.
Brother
Lynn
Mark
Sanchez
says,
is the best.
Yes. Brother Mark Manners says they have copies at Homer's, so go ahead and get you some records, get the reader,
There you go. Is it record store day yet? Is it getting close?
It's getting close next week. So Mark Manor, man, right. What are we doing for record store day? I will be in Omaha. What are we doing for record store day?
Might have to do a little DJ set outside and draw some attention. But anyway, while you're there getting your records, definitely pick up your reader. These people are working very, very hard on these articles, digging deep and pissing people off, frankly, around town, trying to get the answers. So that's what's up, man. I'm not scared to ask the hard questions.
Not at all.
And yes, you are a great reporter, and I'm glad that you're here with us. So thank you so much for coming on in.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you so much, chat chimers. Good to see everyone on Monday.
Yeah. Hey, Bridget, you gonna come to the party on Friday? We got a chat chimers kickback going on at Tiny House Bar Friday night. Buddy will be in town.
I'm there. Sweet. Now I know what I've got coming up.
There you go.
Sounds good. We'll see you there. All right. You have a good one. Thanks a lot.
You too. Thanks.
Peace. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. She's one of my favorites.
It's always a good time. Shout out to the partners at the Reader, El Perico. It's always a good time, always doing the good work. So definitely make sure you check out this latest article, man, because we definitely just kind of scratched the surface of this. She got into her reporting bag with this one. So definitely check out the article. Again, it is available on the reader.com. And caring for Omaha's most absent kids, many still fall through the cracks. So again, it is available on the reader.com, also in the latest issue of the Reader. Go check it out.
There you go. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. Stay tuned. We still have another guest coming up a little later on in the day from Flatwater Free Press. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. Don't you touch that dial. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. 8:06 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, thanks for joining us and sticking with us. We're now in the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning. We got a lot of people still chiming in the chat, which I think is great. Gail Allen says, yes, ridiculous. I don't understand the correlation between math and CRT. You guys must be talking about all the ridiculous.
What?
Say again?
Oh, okay. The Florida. Okay. I was just wondering, like, what are you talking about? Math, the CRT? What?
Yeah, I was trying to go back and see what they were talking about. I got nosy. Let me see what y'all talking about in the chat.
Yeah. Christy Nor said, did y'all see that Florida denied over 40% of their math books due to CRT?
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah.
Hot mess. Beth Davis Wilson says, kids do bear a lot or believe they are in charge of their world. Hard to start with that. Yeah. Sometimes, because little people got feelings too. Sometimes you just don't want to be at school. And then we talk a lot about like if your lessons aren't geared towards you, why would you be interested in the first place? Another lesson from Brother Muhammad that he taught me, like, unless you like are bringing kids and their life into it, why are they going to be interested?
Also, if it's not challenging, if it's not challenging, I was one of those students. I get done with my work early and I'm sitting around looking at people, and then I start, distracting and talking, and it becomes a problem. Simply because just the work wasn't challenging. It was not stimulating at all. So yeah, it just addressing the kids, or addressing the students and their actual needs, and really learning, who these students are, and not just treating them like cogs in a wheel or cogs in a machine. I did want to go back to something that Beth Davis Wilson also said. She said, we had a grandchild in 4th grade arrested, taken to a manual. It's a problem. So, yeah, man, definitely painting a shout out to Bridget for kind of painting exactly how, that preschool to prison pipeline works, and just how real it is, and how easily someone who's dealing with issues at home or just dealing with life situations can end up on that track. Even as Brianna Fool, expressing that she herself ended up in a juvenile justice situation because of that same, thing. So,
yeah, man. Yeah. So again, another hot topic for us. Lots to talk about here all the time. We'll definitely be bringing them in, talking about this DisInvested series, man. That's really kind of digging deep on all the ways that people are disinvested in, especially North and South Omaha, and what we can do about it. So yeah, we'll definitely keep up with that for sure. Jumping back into the chat real quick, Mark Manor said he's down for a DJ set. You might have to get down on
record store day.
Let's
out
go.
there. Yeah, see what's happening. Josh Tate says, although I'm in dire need of a vacation, I can't believe I'm missing Buddy's return and RSD too. We'll be sending good vibes from a beach in Florida, though.
Come on, man.
Get you some beach, bro. Get you some
Right.
beach.
Come on, man. You're gonna be right near the beach.
Right near the beach, bro. You gotta hang out, man. Get you some sun, some sand. We ain't mad at you. I'd be right there with you if I could.
Right.
So don't you worry about a thing. Brother Muhammad says, bring the lessons to life in reality. Yes, please. Let's learn the lessons and then bring them to life. Chrissy Norris says, Alicia Shelton will be at Black Coffee from 10 to 12. Come out and help support Black Coffee. Meet the candidate. Is that today?
Okay.
Today from 10 to 12? That's what I'm saying, man. It's like Black Wall Street up in there now, man. It goes down for sure. We had a big comment from Facebook user a little earlier in the chat as well. I wanted to find out who that person was. I was actually trying to look at Friends of First Sky to see what was up on that. Talking about Jason Samuel Caldwell having yet another 501c3 to grow. The community would be an exercise in futility. Let us know who that is. We're only seeing Facebook user on our side.
Yeah.
So if you're on Friends of First Sky Omaha, then you might want to go over to the actual official Facebook page that for First Sky Omaha, so we can see who's in the chat, especially if you got some long ones like the ones that I'm seeing here.
Whole diatribes. It might be a first time listener though, because we got from Facebook user earlier says, yes sir, dope show. And again, they've been talking about the Urban League trying to buy the OOIC building. So yeah, if you got some information on that, definitely gonna have to look through this long comment there.
Now I do see brother. So it looks like Von Chapman. That was Von Chapman that was talking about.
It's brother Von. Okay.
Yeah. So I just looked on the Friends of First Sky Omaha to see who that was. So yeah, there you go. And also Jason Samuel Caldwell was on there too. He said understood. Oh, okay, man, we're missing some comments because you guys are over on Friends of. Understood, and that does make sense. I've used the Urban League though, and its programs do genuinely help individuals in the community, especially when it comes to unemployment or employment for individuals needing an extra bit of help due to prior arrest, criminal records. That itself is serving in the community. I also believe that the Urban League is and its resources underutilized within the community and could be promoted a little bit more to educate individuals in the community who want to work, who want to be able to support their families and do the right thing. I'm not sure of the current unemployment rate specifically to the minority communities here in Omaha. But I do know that more jobs in the community equates to more money in the community, and hopefully more voting in the community change the administration that surely is causing the funding issues.
Yes.
Brother Jason, I appreciate you with your comment, man. Very well thought out. Comment and sharing that with us and jumping in with us. You know, I've been meaning. Yeah, this is the friend. This is a friend of mine from a while back. That I'm glad that you're here. You're in conversation with Brother Von Chapman on some things, and just want to shout you out for that. So appreciate your words, appreciate your wisdom as well, and becoming part of the chat chimers and jumping in and saying, bringing some points out. For sure. Appreciate that.
I mean, actually, that thought kind of encapsulates and sums up this entire episode, this whole show of what we're talking about, from the investment in the OOIC building to the schools, because, yes, it all feeds in on each other. And when you see, the lack of investment and the lack of real care for the students in school, it's not only, if the education is not, stimulating mentally, or if a person doesn't see themselves in the education. Beyond that, we go into school understanding that the whole point is to learn so we can get a job. Like, that's the understanding. And if there's a feeling like, even if I do learn, I still can't get a job, then why am I going to even pay attention to school? Like, why, even if I do graduate, where are the jobs? And we'll get into Nebraska patting themselves on the back as far as their resilience in the recession and Nebraska's economy, but people in North Omaha and South Omaha are still struggling. There's still people falling through the cracks. There are still demographics and still corners of our community that need this assistance.
There you go.
Pretty sums it up, man. That's a pretty good comment as far as how we can get out of this situation. We need, again, education and economic development.
Right. You know, brother, like I said, Brother Chapman had a response for that as well. So appreciate that in the conversation that you guys are having together. That's great.
Yeah, man.
Brother Muhammad says, learn to create the job. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. You know,
sure.
build that business for sure. Zane says, hi, what's up, Zane? How you doing, my dude?
Hey, the dude.
Yeah, I'll see you soon, my brother. I got a djembe for you for us to get our little drum on. So that's what's happening.
Hey.
Stay tuned. We do have a special guest coming in here in a few minutes, so definitely stay tuned for that. Flatwater Free Press is going to be representing in the house in a minute. And in the meantime, just want to say thanks for everybody who's jumped into the chat, chiming into the chat today. You added a lot to the conversation.
Yeah, man.
I do love this, what we're now calling group storytelling, which is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Beth Davis Wilson says the education system has been dumbed down and their power to do much has been removed. For sure.
That's kind of what I wanted to get into, actually. I wanted to pivot into this candidate forum that took place at the Culture House over the weekend. Again, we got a couple of the attendees that were a part of the panel in the chat. Brother Melvin Muhammad, Sister Brianna Fool, Charles Shelton, if you're out there listening. Would definitely love to hear from y'all. How did y'all think the event went? And then also anyone that was in attendance in the audience, what was your take on this, and maybe kind of carry on some of those themes in this conversation and in this show, as far as how do we address some of the things we're talking about, specifically in OPS. Going back to the Bridget Fogarty article, it is the data. Someone had mentioned exactly what the data says, and looking at the data, it is sort of damning because, as Bridget mentioned, OPS is at the bottom of referrals for this goals program. Actually, according to the data, 0.35, not 3, but 0.35% of students were referred to the goals program in OPS. That is the referral rate. But again, OPS leads in the number of truant students with 8,352 students missing 20% or more of the 2020-2021 year. So
that's crazy.
Again, OPS at the top of that list for truancy, but at the bottom of the list for goals referral. So okay, Brother Mel Muhammad says he posted his comments publicly on First Sky.
Okay. Appreciate that. I think he's doing double. He's on double duty. He's on Facebook and YouTube. So
yeah.
That's what's up. Mama God asks, how do you teach, Brother Melvin? How do you teach how to create your own job? Keep in mind, business ownership requires a level of esteem and self-value. You have to see that you can do it and have resiliency to bounce back when you fail. Very, very true statement. I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, and it does take a certain kind of a level of confidence in yourself and everything else to do that. Brother Muhammad is the kind of cat that teaches that kind of confidence, that kind of knowledge of self, and I feel like he does that first. He wants to instill that in you first, that you are worth the lessons being pointed to you, so that you can learn and you can because what you're about is all about it. You're all about your life. You're all about everything that you're trying to do is very, very important as well. And you don't get treated like that all the time in the school system, when you're just getting treated like a cog in the system, like you say. Man. So yeah, it's tough. But Beth Davis Wilson says OPS leads in number of students in the number of students.
Yes, the largest. You're saying just the largest district by sheer number,
right? School system there, yeah. So lots to comment on that for sure. And as Buddy mentioned earlier, this show is got a little education slant going on in a big way. So our next guest, as a matter of fact, we can go ahead and bring her on now. She's in here already ready and waiting. So let's bring in our next guest from Flatwater Free Press. Buddy, you want to do the honors?
Hello. Yeah, we have Miss Natalia Alamdari in with Flatwater Free Press. Welcome back. I'll say that.
Nice to see you again.
Yes. Nice to see you again, indeed. For those who don't know, again, Natalia is with Flatwater Free Press, doing reporting across the state, doing the good work. And as I understand, you're here now. I think last time we talked about the parole office, the parole board situation.
That might have been Yanchi. We probably talked about good time last time I was here.
Yes. Okay. But to my understanding, you're kind of switching gears, talking about education now.
Yeah, and there's kind of an overlap with corrections, but it's more focused on the classroom experience. So the story we have today is a look at when kids are going through the court system and there are 4 juvenile detention centers while they're waiting for their court appearances. They go to school, like they're teachers. There's LPS teachers if you're at the Lincoln location. There are teachers who really make sure, as much as they can, that their learning doesn't get interrupted during a very traumatic, stressful time. Like classrooms, libraries, it's really just a look inside, what is a day in the life of one of these teachers.
Okay. Before we get too far into that, though, I just want to ask you personally. So when you guys choose, first of all, when you choose stories, there, you guys probably sit around like an editorial meeting and figure out what direction to go. Was this a passion? Was this a thing of your push? Did you really want to dig into this? Is this something that interests you a lot?
It's not something I was familiar with.
Yeah.
It was kind of just mentioned to me by an editor, and it was also in collaboration with Nebraska Public Media. So I think it was something that was on their radar too. But I mean, it's kind of an overlap of 2 different areas that I've covered before. So that was pretty interesting to dive into.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is actually kind of new to me. I never really even thought about that process or students or youth who are going through the juvenile justice system still having to go to school and still getting an education and that being an important part. So again, you're saying that they actually they're not going, like there's teachers coming into the facility teaching them. Is that correct?
Yeah, like these are teachers specifically who work at these specific juvenile detention centers. So the way it works is they might be teaching kids specifically within their housing unit, depending on what their security levels look like, or they have like actual classroom spaces that the kids can go to, or teens more so, like a library space. So it's teachers specifically dedicated to those specific buildings.
And what are some of the experiences of these teachers and maybe some of the students that you're hearing and kind of picking up as you do this research?
Yeah, something that I thought was most interesting is that the structure is really, it's like every class period is like its own one-room schoolhouse. Like you could go into a housing unit and you could be working with a kid who is doing 7th grade math, but you could also be working with someone who's a senior in high school and making sure that they're all caught up with their credits. So it's really, that 50 minutes has just this crazy combination of like juggling different learning levels, different learning abilities, different courses within one class. That was one of the most interesting things that came out to me. And just like the care that these teachers have for their kids is one of the bigger takeaways that I had.
That's awesome.
I thought you had a question.
I was kind of tripping because I'm looking into her eyes while she's talking and they're purple, and I'm like, this is a strange.
It's probably my glasses glare.
It is. It is. But it makes you look like you have purple eyes. I think it's very.
My face is frozen on my end, so I'm just staring at like my blank face.
Oh no!
Oh, dang. Well, you're still moving. You're still moving on.
Yeah, you're moving on. Just jumping into the chat real quick. The Facebook user says the negative numbers regarding OPS suggest that OPS has failed the targeted community. The non-relevant curriculum, not the teachers nor the building is the problem. That's a good comment to comment on. What do you think about that?
Oh, I really haven't covered enough about OPS to be able to talk about that intelligently.
And that was kind of my question also. Is this this article is statewide, right? You're looking at juvenile justice facilities across the state.
There are 4. Let me try and remember where. They're mostly in the eastern half of the state, if I'm remembering correctly. Sarpy, Douglas County, Lancaster County, and then I think Madison County is the 4th one.
Okay. So yeah, Lincoln, Bellevue, Omaha areas. And what I was kind of curious as far as the students' reaction, because you kind of mentioned the care that the teachers have for their students. Were you able to see like an impact, or how did the students react to the teachers definitely being, in the juvenile justice system going through a court case? Some would say, these are troubled teens. how are they reacting to just getting the education and the relationship with the teacher?
Sure. So unfortunately, we weren't actually able to get into the building. They have really strict COVID restrictions. But I can recount some of the stories that the teachers told me. One of the things that they focus on a lot is credit recovery. Most of the kids who come through are behind grade level just because they either have had truancy problems or just grade struggles. But one of the big things that they focus on is getting kids back on track. There was a teacher I spoke to who he said he's had a pair of boys in one of his housing unit that they've been there for a couple months, which is longer than most kids are in there for. But he's just seen this like transformation in them, like both academically, like they're on track to graduate this year, and also socially, and kind of just becoming like peer leaders among the group of kids that they're in this housing unit with. Like they help each other with their work, make sure their other peers stay on task, just like really watching like the shift in kids. And I think one of the most interesting things too, at least to me, because I'm like a big reader, is like the librarians and the teachers that work there. One of the things that they focus on a lot is, you know, if you can't get a kid to like be perfect at math, you know, like that's something that's really difficult for a lot of students. At least get them to like read a book, get into reading, and just like be interested in learning. It doesn't have to be perfect, but anything is progress.
Try some other form of learning, some other subjects to jump into and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like one of them said, like, if they're not relating to a book written in like the 1700s or something like that, give them something like more closer to the reality that they can be interested in. And that kind of sparks that interest in learning.
Yeah. Sir, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just kind of curious, what was the most surprising or biggest takeaway that you got from these conversations with these teachers, or a thing that like, you know, you really walked away like, man, I didn't know that, or that was surprising?
I mean, I think the whole concept, I think like you, I had never really thought about like, what does school look like for kids in the juvenile justice center, or in the justice system? And like I said, that one room schoolhouse aspect is kind of what was the biggest shock to me. Just like I had never thought of it before.
Yeah. I'm definitely surprised about it too. I never thought about it, and I'm also thinking now that I know it exists, like to like Von Chapman's point, is some of that stuff directed? What I'm wondering is how is the curriculum matching up to the curriculum in school at that level, and is it changed up for their situation to help them get out of their situation or whatever, you know? So I'm just kind of wondering about the actual what they're actually being taught.
Yeah, and that was talked about in some of the interviews, but it was kind of in the weeds. I don't remember the specifics of it. I do know the Lancaster County program, that's through Lincoln Public Schools. So I think they use the same kind of curriculum. There's some sort of online curriculum too that they're able to use. I don't remember the specifics of it, but yeah, just this big emphasis on like, let's get you back on track. Let's get you set to graduate.
Does it seem like it works? Do they get back on track? Do they get out and I mean, what are there any statistics on the success of the program?
I think I would have to look at recidivism rates. I think it's a lot like corrections for adults, where it just really depends on the person, depends on the situation of their lives at the time.
Kind of a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
I did want to jump into a quick chat or a quick comment from Miss Erica Fell. She says the problem with that education, kind of answering the question about the curriculum, is that it's geared to the lowest common denominator, and many children who get in trouble are very intelligent, so their behavior gets worse in these settings due to being bored or feeling insulated or insulted. So going to Paul's comment about the success, and I understand you have to look at the data. But I am curious, like even if you don't have the data, did you kind of get a sense that there were some challenges or some issues that these teachers were facing in these classrooms?
Yeah, I mean, you're dealing with a smaller group of kids than a typical public school class, but you're also dealing with, you know, whatever traumas these teens are coming into the classroom with. they're going through the court system. That's something really stressful. Maybe they have, you know, whatever brought them to this point is kind of the added challenge. And I know one of the teachers had said, like, sometimes like a kid will have a bad day in court or something will happen with their case, and that just throws off how they're feeling and whether they're able to focus. Like that's kind of the main challenge that I noticed talking to these teachers.
Yeah.
Okay. I do think this is kind of interesting, the story and just the grander scheme of this show, this episode today, and our conversation in regards to the preschool to prison pipeline, and just it's almost like we're seeing it in different stages throughout this conversation. Either going, to what Bridget was talking about, where it kind of starts with truancy and things like that, and a lot of those students end up in the classroom that you're kind of writing about and talking about. So it's very interesting to see, as you mentioned, with the teacher's perspective and just engaging and trying to spark interest and just engaging the students, because it does seem like a lot of times that's how they end up in those types of positions, not being engaged, not being mentally stimulated. Kind of, as you mentioned, in a case-by-case basis, a lot of times these are the students who fall through the cracks, and the cases aren't necessarily addressed. Is that kind of the sense that you got from these conversations and from your research, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think thinking about like kids who slip through the cracks, and it's unfortunate that it has to reach this point, but something that one of the teachers told me was like, this is the first time for some of these kids that they're able to get that one-on-one attention, for someone to really focus on, like, how are you doing? What challenges do you have, and how can we help you overcome them, at least from a learning perspective? And it's just, they've slipped through the cracks until they've reached this point of being in one of these juvenile justice center classrooms. And I think a lot of these teachers kind of see themselves as like, I'm one of their last shots at like having someone try and get them interested in learning. A lot of the teachers actually said to me, like, if my ultimate goal is for my job to not have to exist one day.
Wow, it's a powerful statement.
Josh taking the chat says the only way I can see this being successful is when someone is locked up for a consistent amount of time. It takes a long time to get the students into this program, and certainly isn't a smooth transition back to traditional school. I feel like I agree. I feel like my feeling about that is, it's great that they are finally getting a little one-on-one with a teacher, but like how much and how consistent. And is it making some kind of a difference? I mean, I assume it's going to make some kind of a difference because it's something, but it really also depends on, like you say, the individual child, how long that person's there, how much they engage, whether or not they had a bad day in court, so on and so forth.
And like that commenter said, like, there are kids who maybe they stay in for just a week. There are kids who stay in for a couple months, like the ones that I mentioned earlier. It's so case by case.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Where do you go next with this deep dive? It seems like every time we're talking about some of these subjects, we're starting to tie them together. So what's the next knot coming up?
Yeah, I think as far as corrections, I think I'm going to shift back to looking into programming, which kind of overlaps with like the education aspect of things, but from a more adult perspective. Other than that, I've got some housing things that I'm looking into, all kind of at the early stages. Really interested in like the rental landscape of North Omaha, if anyone has any ideas on that.
We're always talking about that.
Yeah, constantly.
Yeah. So, all right, that'll be good. Yeah, I can see how we can that stuff can tie in as well. And this the question of economics as well. The property taxes that are going up in our areas too, and that money's supposed to be going to schools and resources and unfortunately, new child care facilities. I mean, new juvenile justice facilities. So there's going to be a need for even more teachers and more programs, and it's just kind of never ending cycle. So good luck to you on
on writing all of that, I guess.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to the next work. And for those who want to check out the full article, you can do so at flatwaterfreepress.org. Again, that's flatwaterfreepress.org. The new article is available now.
Ooh, I just want to plug too. If you go to Nebraska Public Media site, they have the audio version of the story as well.
Ooh,
yeah.
audio?
I think we're going to embed it on our site. I don't know if it's on there yet, but you can pop on over to Nebraska Public Media if you want to listen to it.
You guys are fancy.
There you go. The shameless plug. So again, we would definitely thank you as always. I guess before we let you go, any last thoughts, final words, or anything on your mind, your heart?
Nope, I don't think so. I guess
I'll put you on the spot.
I just got to start thinking about the next thing.
Yeah. Well, I will say, the writers over at Flatwater, you all are very professional. We always appreciate talking to you and looking forward to the work that you're doing.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Can't wait to have you back another time.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks. Can't wait to be back.
All right, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been in conversation with Natalia Alamdari, again, of Flatwater Free Press. Have a good day.
Yep. See ya. All right, we'll take a quick break and we'll come right on back. Stay tuned. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich, all of you, the chat chimers. We'll get back and talk about that forum when we get back. Stay tuned. It's going down.
No chatting.
Welcome back. Woo, 8:37. If you believe in the concept of time, it is April the 18th, 2022. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. And Star Trek Rich always provides us every day right here at the Weberized Studios, what we call the Trekkie Words of Wisdom Starfleet Daily Meditation. And let's go ahead and do our Starfleet Daily Meditation today. It is, why does everyone say relax when they're about to do something terrible? That sounds like a Harry Kim quote right there. Harry Kim is a cool dude, kind of earnest, kind of eager, kind of innocent, but he'll stand up and knock you out if it comes down to it. So that's what's up, Harry Kim. With his anxiety and nervousness, sometimes we feel like this inside all the time. Why does everybody say relax when they're about to do something terrible? Just calm down, bro. It'll be all right. Everything will be just fine. Yeah, that's the moment that you ought to tense up a little bit and see what's going to happen next. So there you go, your Trekkie words of wisdom for today. Keep it in mind. See if it'll help you out. Never know. Never know what how it comes back up in your life during the day. So there you go.
Like Miss Fool saying the OPS board might be telling the parents to relax before they make this decision.
Ooh,
yeah. Miss Fool for OPS in the chat says, speaking of the preschool to prison pipeline, OPS school board is proposing changes to the student code of conduct tonight that I think will make the pipeline worse. I'll be there making public comment. Tune into the live stream later. So again,
is this about the not being able to defend yourself stuff?
Well, so you might know about this. What's this?
We kind of talked about it a little bit the other day. There's a proposal out there where they're trying to say that that you can't use a self-defense as a excuse anymore to be fighting. If somebody jumps on you and you defend yourself, then you guys are just both gonna be in trouble. So I'm wondering if that's what they're going to be talking about tonight. Interesting. Let us know. Also, a little earlier, we were talking about that forum that happened the other day at the Culture House, and a little earlier in the chat, Brianna Full, who was part of that forum, jumped in and gave us her thoughts on that. She says, I think the forum went well. Each candidate has a slightly different approach to how they would be on the school board. I tried to emphasize that I'm not going to rubber stamp everything that comes in front of me. It's important to ask lots of questions and include the community in the decision-making process. Yeah, definitely. I think that sounds good to me. Full for OPS. Definitely check out her campaign. She is a friend of First Sky Omaha, a chat chimer, and running for school board, Brianna Full. So definitely check her out. And we also have, of course, brother Melvin Muhammad in the chat. That's also a chat chimer, a supporter of First Sky Omaha as well, that is running for school board, and he was there. So, brother Muhammad, let us know. Give us your take if you have a take on what happened on the forum there as well. So appreciate that. Looks like you guys are all talking to yourself in the chat. We know we love that kind of stuff. So that's what's up.
Definitely. I would want to jump into a comment that brother Melvin Muhammad had. His kind of conversation with Mama God, but I think it's relevant to his philosophy. As a potential board member, he says we must always start with teaching about one's source of life, giving credit every day, and honoring the creative force within self. We start there every morning. I'll reach out to you a little later, again, talking to Mama God. But I think that's important, too, as we talk about, this preschool to prison pipeline and just some of the things that these students need dealing with the mental health aspect. A lot of that, goes to everybody, all the adults around them. And a couple of people have mentioned that, the youth are very helpless to their situation. A lot of these times it's the adults failing the children. It's adults at home, adults in the classroom, kind of as Natalia just mentioned. It's all these adults failing these students, and then the students themselves end up in situations that change their lives. And so like the teachers and the juvenile judge, like they need some kind of help. They need somebody to pay attention to them. They need just to be engaged.
Right.
So yeah, that's interesting that brother Mel Muhammad, points out that we got to kind of speak life into the youth. Yeah,
one form of help that can happen is Von Chapman in the chat is saying, fix the curriculum and you fix the feeling of non-inclusion by the targeted group. So that's one way to help that situation. Now, also Paul Philman is in the chat. Now I've opened up the Friends of First Sky Omaha on another computer over here, so I'm checking out some of the stuff here because it's still coming in. Facebook user, but Paul Philman was in the chat. Appreciate you. He says, "What are the education facilities going to be like in the new youth center?" These are good questions. I think we're getting a glimpse of it from Natalia's article, for sure. Definitely go to Flatwater Free Press and dig deep into that article as well. But seems like we're getting a glimpse of how that's going to work. Getting an idea of what the curriculum is going to be, what's going to happen. We'll see how the new facilities come about and what's going to happen there. That's a good question. He says Paul Finman was at the forum Saturday too. He says the forum on Saturday went very well. Be great to have regular forums regarding school board and public school districts monthly theory. Yeah, I like that as well. I think we don't have enough regular meetings, regular town halls, regular school board meetings, all the things that for the public, so the public can go check them out as well. That would work. So lots in the chat. I don't know if we can catch up on all of it before we get there, but just some of the failings. I do want to read a couple of them because some of the things are personal experiences from the chat chimers about being in some of these things too. Miss Erica Fell says, I attended these a few times back in the day. One was a multi-age classroom for 10 to 18-year-olds. Some were individual teachers that came into your room. So talking about how some of those things work and what they look like. Josh Tate says, I was shuffled through the system over a 2-month period when I was 16 and never had school. It was the ones who were in for 3 months or longer who qualified. So that ties along to his comment that he made earlier about this program really doesn't work unless you're in there for a while. You can have some consistency and so on and so forth. Makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense. So I appreciate you guys expressing those things and talking about your situation there. I think that really helps to hear it from the other side of it as well. So appreciate that.
Yeah, and also big shout out to Natalia coming in.
Big shout out. That was they take some stuff and tackle it, man. I'm like,
it's funny because I think about how reporters are out there asking questions that people don't want to answer. And they're knocking on doors, making phone calls, annoying people. You know, like you get down. You got to have a certain amount of gangster to be a journalist. You know, especially these days, man.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I can't wait. Now we heard that part. Now maybe we'll hear from Matt Wynn again and tell us about what Natalia went through to get that story.
Man, we'll see. But they're definitely getting the story and doing the work, man. So whatever they go through, we appreciate it. So
yeah,
and big shout out to her and Bridget and the chat chimers, man. Chat's going off.
Yeah, chat is going off. Leah Keister in the house says the community school system and the impact it has on our future. What was that from? I don't have kids, but I value the conversation about yeah. I hear that. Same here, man. You know, we got young folks. I mean, if it doesn't get taken care of with young folks, then it just turns into something even uglier later on, which affects all of us. Brother Inomar Valentine says it has been a long time since elected officials have sat down with families to have a true conversation about these issues.
Yeah, man.
There you go. There's a need for that forum. Wanda Lewis says it seems like the new Juvenile Justice Center is focusing more on controlling behavior than anything else. Yeah, getting you back on track talk feels that way sometimes. Which track are you getting back on?
Yeah. And Miss Erica Phil asks a kind of valuable question to that too. She says, "How are the teachers selected?" So that's a good question too. And right. I kind of got the sense that Natalia didn't necessarily know as far as the data and statistics, but I am curious as far as what are some of the demographics of these classrooms. You know, I'm kind of going on the limb to say most of these students in these juvenile justice classrooms are most likely students of quote unquote color. And you know, what do the teachers look like? So yeah, this is a valuable question.
Lots of good questions there on that. Brianna Full says we have regular school board meetings, but the school board members are not allowed to interact with the public during that time, not even allowed to ask questions or have a conversation. I really dislike that. And if we have to have separate regular meetings as your next school board member in order to do those things, I would. Right after that, Facebook user says the Culture House forum was great. All the candidates who may not win should remain engaged as an oversight team regarding OPS going forward. It's a good idea. It's a really good idea. Yeah.
It was also coming from Mark Snow. Facebook user says Mark Snow said part of the reason Mandela School doing so well is because they were able to exclude kids that they thought would be problematic.
Interesting.
It's interesting take on that. Yeah, I mean, Mandela is, you know, it is a application process. It is a private situation. You do have to get selected to be in that, rather than OPS just being, you know, open for everybody.
Right. Very true. Lots in the comments still. We're coming up on 8:47 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, Buddy, was there any other stories that we wanted to mention before we jump into the haps, or would you like to continue on with the comments here?
Well, we do have this economy article. Again, Nebraska has apparently found itself
the pat on the back article.
Yeah. Which is kind of
good job, Nebraska.
It's very interesting, juxtaposed to what we've been talking about, man. Because again, a lot of these students and you know, a lot of what these families are dealing with it kind of stems from economics. Again, just dealing with the stress of poverty. that's really the end all be all of it, is dealing with the stress of poverty and some of the trickle down, you know, things that people deal with when dealing with poverty. But yet here we have a Nebraska Examiner article that is talking about the low unemployment rate in Nebraska, relatively affordable housing, and hefty government cash reserves help propel Nebraska to the #1 spot in a new report that ranks U.S. states most likely to survive the next recession. So again, low unemployment, affordable housing, and hefty government cash reserves, all of the things people in North and South Omaha do not see the benefits of. And these are the things that Nebraska is touting and celebrating. That's propelled them to the #1 spot in this new report. Again, that ranks U.S. states most likely to survive the next recession. The online publication merchantmaverick.com provided the review on businesses and said the top ranking states in its study shared low unemployment and prudent tax and spending habits. Lead analyst Chris Matola of that merchantmaverick.com said that again, most of the states that were recession resistant apparently are in the heartland. Nebraska, North Dakota, Minnesota are the top 3. He went on to say that one more reason to run for cornfields instead of the hills if the economy flatlines. Nebraska weathered the Great Recession better than most other states, which I get the sense that that's kind of also was fueling Governor Ricketts, feeling that there's no need out there, and
say that feels very red. That statement right there, real Republican.
Man, so
head for the cornfields instead of the hills.
Huh? that part. But it makes you think of Straight Outta Omaha. And the sense that was painted not just in Omaha, but also if you've seen the documentary, the Sally Trotter, who's the subject of that documentary, he goes out to West Omaha or West Nebraska and deals with the same issues, out there. So again, it's just kind of the tale of two states, if you will. Here we have Nebraska celebrating low unemployment and relatively affordable housing and hefty government cash, but we still have large swaths of our community that can't find jobs, can't get employment, can't get the training for employment, can't find affordable housing, can't get government assistance. So again, tale of two states.
Tale of two states, man. Always. Let's see. Von Chapman it says, really, did the article include the statistics from North Omaha?
Come on, buddy.
That's what we're talking about, buddy. Man. That's what we're talking about.
It didn't.
The statistics that they're putting out there is it feels a lot of patting themselves on the back and not really representing all sides and communities in this stuff. Really trying to make it, like I said, it feels real red. It feels like, come to the heartland, come to the cornfields, come on this way, because everybody's thriving out here and being taken care of out here in a big way. It's definitely not the story from, just from us talking to y'all, like just from us having the conversations that we have over time, doesn't feel like it rings true.
No.
And if we went to dig into North Omaha, South Omaha statistics, we might find a whole different number. Beth Davis Wilson is asking, does low employment equate to low opportunities for jobs? Not a lot going on here as far as business. Perhaps not a lot of jobs to be had. Just asking. Some of that, some of lack of education for some of these jobs that are being the attention is absolutely being directed to grabbing people from out of state to come here. Let's build some lakes. Let's build some lakes for the kind of people that we want to be here to come and take these jobs. Ms. Ickerfeld says we have an entire community in Nebraska without running water half the time.
There you go.
Let's just pretend that we don't have one of the worst reservations in the country. Come to the cornfields.
Yeah, man.
It's not for everyone.
And again, this data was gathered from reports across 50 states and from 8 separate metrics that included GDP growth and per capita household debt to income ratios and state income tax rates. So I'm sure all those millionaires out in West Omaha and the Buffetts and the have-yous, the Ricketts, those families are offsetting the poverty and the need in North and South Omaha to kind of even out some of these numbers. But
hey, Manny, what's happening? Manny About Town in the chat was the one says it's not for everyone.
That's the slogan, right?
That's the slogan. Wanda Lewis in the chat earlier said that we should bring somebody on from the planning department. Manny, you got anybody who we should reach out to specifically for that? Let us know. We would love to talk to people about the Omaha plan. Wanda Lewis said the city of Omaha predominantly a service industry. Now that they have robots delivering food to your table at some Denny's,
What jobs? Just like someone said in the chat, do you have to be creative and create your own job? Yeah. I mean,
pretty much.
I mean, that's what we've been doing for a long time. You know, people come to black folks and like, how y'all do it? Well, we create our own jobs because a lot of success at getting in certain industries. Never know.
Gotta make do, man.
There you go. Led Keisha says it doesn't take in account people who have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet. I mean, let's talk about the living wage with all this. Yeah, everybody's working because they got 2 or 3 jobs. I'm sure the statistics look great.
Yeah. And again, they're touting relatively affordable housing as well, which is something we definitely talk about here on the show. So this whole article is very, very interesting, and how undoubtedly this type of rhetoric will be used by the rickets out there to support their lack of willingness to help North and South Omaha.
We got 6 minutes left in the show. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Buddy Fresh, you're on.
Hey.
Are y'all ready for the haps? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the haps. If you're ready or not, just talk about some few things that's going down here that we need to be hipping you to, and some stuff that you need to let us know about as well that you think we should be bigging up on the show. It's going down. Kind of feels dead without some Michelle shoulders in.
Yeah, I can't quite get the shoulders like Michelle. Nah.
We need the shell shoulders back.
Yeah. I'm not sure what it is. But either way, it's time for the haps.
Yep. You got some haps for the peoples.
Yeah, I actually want to go back to one of the haps that was dropped earlier in the chat. I believe congressional candidate having the coffee at Black Coffee 10 to 12.
Yeah. Alicia Shelton.
Yep.
Come meet the candidate. Thanks for dropping that on us. We stopped by Black Coffee today and check out what's going on. Don't forget about Black Coffee.
Man.
5001 North 42nd Street. They got the whole breakfast thing going on. I'm glad too, because I used to hit Leavenworth back in the day, and then Leavenworth closed down, and well, before they closed down, I found out they had a Robert E. Lee plate that I didn't really agree with, so I stopped going. But then they closed down and tried to blame it on us, and it wasn't us. It was COVID and everything else. But long story short, we got breakfast in town now. Go to 5001 North 42nd Street and get down with the Breakfast Club.
Man,
North Omaha Breakfast Club's going down, and today Alicia Shelton will be there. You can come shake some hands and take some pictures in front of the red, black, and green. And grab some breakfast while you're there. So check it out.
Yeah, get you some good grub too. Some good grub.
Get them grits.
Good things. Nothing but good things. Also, a big shout out to the Culture House. Again, the Culture House hosted the candidate forum, and they host all types of things for the community. On May 6th, they will be hosting the North 24th Street Art Walk, which celebrates art and work from seniors from Omaha North High School. So a big shout out to all the Vikings out there, especially the seniors who will be showcasing their work in this event. Again, it's Friday, May 6th from 4:30 to 7 p.m. North 24th Street Art Walk. So come out and get you some beautiful art, support the artists in the community. North 24th Street. Yeah, man, and it's going to, it should be nice out.
Hey, shout out to the Fabric Lab too, man. It's also turning into the Black Wall Street. So shout out to them. Shout out to North Omaha Trail Union for Contemporary Art. That's part of the whole deal. Appreciate them. Spark even, and Great Plains Black History Museum as well. So everybody who's joining in on this whole situation, thank you very much for that. Bringing it to us. Yeah, let's participate for sure.
It's a community effort, y'all. Teamwork makes the dream work. So definitely support if you can. And then also coming up May 1st, Mother's Day Market. It's a pop-up shop event. This is an event that's being hosted by Bunny Wright and Andre Wright. Shout out to Andre Wright. He's a local artist, man, a gospel rapper. So definitely shout out to him. And shout out to all the mothers out there, man. You can't miss that. So Mother's Day event coming up May 1st, 2 to 6 p.m. Support your local crafts workers and small businesses. There will be 50 plus local small businesses available. Beauty, candles, jewelry, clothing, handmade items. I mean, live performances, a DJ. It's going to be a good time. So come out there, support the mothers in the community. Again, that's May 1st, Sunday, May 1st, 2 to 6 p.m. at the living room in the Mastercraft building. Again,
that's right. Hey,
right here. It's right there.
Right here where Webberize is at, the Mastercraft building. It goes down.
The spot, 1111 North 13th Street. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, shout out to all the mama gods. That's what's going on.
Man, creating life. You know what I'm saying?
And don't forget, man, Buddy will be back in town in very shortly, in a matter of a few days, and we're going to celebrate that at the first Sky Omaha Chat Chimer Season 3 kickback at the Tiny House. Come on through, man. We're gonna have a funky good time. We want to see everybody there that is in the chat, man. This is for you, the chat chimers. Come on through. Some drink specials, and I'll be getting a hold of y'all this week to see if you guys want to make it a little bit of a potluck. We'll see what's happening, man, and have some little niblets, some things to nibble on there on top of it.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a DJ in the house, and you're gonna be able to meet the squad, meet the crew. Those of you that are in town, come on through, man. Buddy's in town and it's going down, so we're gonna have a good time, man.
Man, it's going up and then back down. So yeah, definitely come out, have a good time with us. Also, this weekend is going to be a busy weekend for your boy. Earth Day Omaha goes down Saturday, April 23rd. Again, Earth Day Omaha at Elmwood Park. That's this Saturday, April 23rd from 11 to 6 p.m. I will be in attendance performing alongside my brothers of the Dilla Kids, my man Zoe, my man Marcy. Yeah, it's going to be an event. Also, Adam Soul going to be out there doing her thing. So, yeah, man, live music, environmental expositions, food, drink, demonstrations, family fun. Come out and have a good time.
There you go. Brianna Full says meet and greet with several different candidates tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the Fabric Lab. I'm telling you, Fabric Lab is like the new city, the new Black City Hall too. The sheriff, the school board, Congress, governor, man,
you name it.
Everybody gonna be there. Prince coming back. Jesus gonna be in the building. Everybody coming through, man. So give us some more information on that. We'll definitely push that and have everybody come and check it out if we can. I'm trying to go up and see some of the rest of this stuff, but there's like too much. So you guys better just go ahead and check out the chat and see what else is going on. There's a lot. So I'll be calling you guys about that Friday show, about the Friday event, whether or not we're gonna do that thing. And what's you talking about, Brooke? Talking about Leavenworth? It was just cheap food. Oh, you're talking about
yeah, she said the food wasn't good anyway.
Yeah, man, I don't like how they try to act like it was our protests that shut them down when
Come on, buddy. It was
COVID, fool. Shut up. A whole bunch of restaurants shut down. It wasn't because we protested in front of it. Yeah. So anyway, Facebook user says, "Look, we still in COVID, Paul. No potlucks. Okay, maybe call a food truck and tell them to come down. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. We'll see what's up. We'll see what's up with that. Okay. So no potlucks yet. Okay. All right. We'll see what's happening with it. We're gonna get out of here. It's already 9:02. We're late. Hit a mug already, buddy. You got some words for the peoples?
Man, as always, we appreciate having this community storytelling moment, having this community conversation. Having this community forum. That's what it's about. Like minds, or even people who, maybe not have like minds, just coming together and having a conversation and trying to reach some common ground. I think that's a worthwhile endeavor. So we definitely appreciate everyone for partaking. Mama God asking about a show on Wednesday. I will that is the time and day I will be flying in. So
yeah, let's just call it no show on Wednesday.
Yeah, no show, which is I know it's a fan favorite on Women's Wednesday, but I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah, so we'll no show on Wednesday, but we'll have an extensive show on Friday, and of course, you get together with us on that Friday night and all that good stuff. So yeah, we'll be around.
Yep. So as always, appreciate y'all. Also, big shout out to Bridget Fogarty and Natalia Alamdari of the Reader, El Perico, and Flatwater Free Press, respectively, for coming through and chopping it up with us. Again, make sure you go check out the new work, check out their articles at Flatwater Free Press and the Reader. And until next time, Paul B, take it away.
Pop says, I love this show. Thank you. If we don't see you Wednesday, we'll see you Friday. Yep, we'll see you Friday.
Yep.
Appreciate that. Also, Miss Erica Fell says, keep your space, drink water, and please know each of you are appreciated for starting my Monday right. Oh, that's what's up.
Thank you. Thank you
Appreciate that.
kindly.
Gail says, great show. That's what's happening. Appreciate you. Leg Keister says, thank you. Great show. We got a lot of great shows going on. Appreciate that very much. And yeah, thank you. Thank all of you. So want to give a thanks to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. I want to give a shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. I want to give a shout out to Weberized Studios for allowing us to broadcast live here at the Weberized Studios. Go to Weberized.com for podcast ideas. Shout out to Star Trek Rich and the crew. Appreciate you. Shout out to all of you, the chat timers, the co-storytellers. We love the fact that we have a group storytelling thing going on here with y'all. We would not have this show if it wasn't for that. And we would not have this show if it wasn't for those of you that do reoccurring sponsorship for this as well. If you have not, please go to First Sky Omaha and hit the donate button and become a reoccurring member. $5, $10 a month, $25 a month, $50 a month, whatever it is you can afford, and then help us keep this show on the road. Really appreciate you. Shout out to Buddy and his family. Shout out to you. Happy anniversary, first of all. Shout out to you out there in Atlanta in the Life is God studios, holding it down for us. Safe travels. Hope you get here safe, man, and we're going to have a good time, a funky good time when you get here. So looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to the 22nd. It's going down. Chad Chimers Kickback is happening at Tiny House. We will hopefully see everybody there that can make it. So that's what's up. Thank you very much for all of you, and really appreciate all of you too. It helps me get my day and my week going just to be able to sit down and have some conversations. So love it, and you guys have a great one. Peace.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the